My name is Alex, and I'm 27 years old. I've always been curious about crossdressing, but I never had the courage to actually do it. Growing up, I'd sneak into my sister's room and try on her clothes when nobody was home. There was something about it that felt right. Not in a weird way, but in a way that made me feel more like myself. More complete. But society has its rules, doesn't it? And I was too scared to break them. That all changed 6 months ago when I moved to a new city for work. New city, new people, new opportunities. No one knew me here. No one had any preconceived notions about who Alex was supposed to be. I could reinvent myself, experiment, explore the parts of myself I'd kept hidden for so long. I started small. Bought some makeup from the drugstore, watched countless YouTube tutorials at 2 a.m., and practiced in the privacy of my apartment. The first time I saw myself fully done up, wig, makeup, dress, heels, I cried. Not because I looked ridiculous, though my eyeliner was definitely a disaster, but because for the first time in my life, I saw someone in the mirror who felt authentic. I named her Alexandra. Alex when I was him, Alexandra when I was her. Two sides of the same person, finally getting to exist. After a few months of building confidence, going out to LGBTQ-friendly bars and clubs as Alexandra, I had a crazy idea. What if I created a Tinder profile? Not as Alex, but as Alexandra. I wanted to see what it felt like to connect with someone as her, to be seen and appreciated for this side of myself. So I did it. I took some photos. Nothing too revealing, just tasteful pictures where I actually looked pretty damn good, and created a profile. I was honest in my bio. Alexandra. Living my truth. Looking for genuine connections. Trans-friendly space. I didn't explicitly say I was crossdressing or that Alex existed because, honestly, I wanted to see who would be interested in Alexandra for who she was. The matches started coming in immediately. Some guys were clearly fetishizing, which I blocked instantly. But then there were others who seemed genuinely interested in getting to know me. We'd chat about movies, music, life goals, fears, dreams. It felt good. It felt real. And then I matched with Ryan. Ryan was 29, worked in marketing, had a golden retriever named Biscuit, and according to his profile, loved hiking, craft beer, and terrible dad jokes. His opening message wasn't some sleazy pickup line. It was, okay, serious question. Is a hot dog a sandwich? Because I've been in a heated debate with my coworkers about this for 3 days. I laughed out loud. We started talking, and the conversation flowed so naturally. He was funny, intelligent, kind. He asked thoughtful questions about my interests, my life, what made me happy. We talked every single day for 3 weeks. Voice messages, memes, late-night philosophical discussions about whether aliens exist. I was falling for him. And that's when the panic set in. Here's the thing. Ryan thought he was talking to a cisgender woman. I hadn't lied, but I hadn't been completely transparent either. Every day that passed, the weight of this secret grew heavier. I knew I needed to tell him, but I was terrified. What if he felt deceived? What if he reacted badly? What if this beautiful connection we'd built came crashing down? But I couldn't keep going like this. After 3 weeks of daily conversations, Ryan asked if we could finally meet in person. I feel like I've known you forever, but I really want to see you face to face. Coffee this Saturday. I stared at that message for a solid hour. My hands were shaking. This was it. Decision time. I could ghost him, disappear, protect myself from potential rejection. Or I could be brave. I could show up as Alexandra and see what happened. I typed, yes, let's meet. Cafe Novo at 2 p.m. His response was immediate. It's a date. Can't wait. But here's where things got absolutely wild. The night before our date, I couldn't sleep. I was anxious, excited, terrified, every emotion all at once. Around 2 a.m., I did something stupid. Something impulsive. Something that would change everything. I created another Tinder profile. As Alex. Male Alex. I don't even know what possessed me. Maybe I wanted to see if Ryan was only interested in women, or if there was any chance he might be open to who I really was in my entirety. Maybe I was self-sabotaging. Maybe I was just an idiot. I made a profile with my regular guy photos, swiped through, and, like some kind of cosmic joke, I matched with Ryan. Ryan was bisexual. His preferences were set to see everyone. And he'd swiped right on Alex. My brain short-circuited. He was attracted to me. Both versions of me. He just didn't know they were the same person. Saturday morning arrived way too fast. I woke up in a cold sweat, my phone showing 17 unread messages. 9 from Ryan to Alexandra confirming our date and saying how excited he was, and 8 from Ryan to Alex trying to start a conversation. Hey man, love your taste in music. You ever been to the underground venue downtown? I was living in an episode of Catfish, except I was catfishing someone as 2 different versions of myself. This was insane. This was unsustainable. This needed to end. But how? I decided I'd go to the date as Alexandra, and I'd tell him everything. I'd explain the crossdressing, explain why I hadn't been fully transparent, and just hope that the connection we'd built was strong enough to survive the truth. I spent 4 hours getting ready. Makeup had to be perfect. Hair had to be flawless. I chose a burgundy dress that made me feel confident, paired with black ankle boots, because heels on a first date where you might need to run away in tears? No thank you. I looked in the mirror, took a deep breath, and whispered to myself, "You've got this, Alexandra." I arrived at Café Novo 15 minutes early, my stomach doing somersaults. I ordered a green tea I knew I wouldn't drink and sat at a corner table where I could see the entrance. At exactly 2 p.m., Ryan walked in. He was more handsome in person, broad shoulders, kind eyes, a nervous smile that made my heart skip. He looked around the cafe, clearly searching for Alexandra. His eyes passed over me once, twice, and then he checked his phone. And here's where the universe decided to play the cruelest joke imaginable. Ryan walked right up to my table. Not because he recognized me as Alexandra, but because there were no other empty tables, and he asked, "Hey, sorry to bother you, but is anyone sitting here? The place is packed." I froze. My voice cracked as I said, "No, go ahead." He sat down across from me, pulled out his phone, and started texting. I could see his screen. He was messaging Alexandra. Messaging me. "Hey, I'm here at Café Novo. At a table in the corner. Where are you?" My phone buzzed in my purse. I didn't dare check it. Waiting for someone? I managed to ask, my voice barely steady. He looked up and smiled that devastating smile. "Yeah, actually. First date. Been talking to this girl for weeks, and I'm honestly kind of nervous. She's amazing. Smart, funny, beautiful from her photos. I really hope I don't mess this up." My heart shattered and soared at the same time. He had no idea. He was sitting across from me, pouring his heart out, and he had absolutely no clue that I was her. "I'm sure you'll do great," I said softly. She'd be lucky to meet someone who's clearly this excited about her. He laughed. "Thanks. I needed that. I'm Ryan, by the way." "Alexandra," I said before I could stop myself. His eyes widened slightly. "Alexandra? Wait, that's her name. The girl I'm meeting. What are the odds?" "Yeah," I said, my throat tight. "What are the odds?" We sat in this bizarre limbo for several minutes. He kept checking his phone, growing more concerned. "She's not responding. I hope everything's okay." Then he looked at me, really looked at me, and said, "You know, you're really pretty." Has anyone ever told you that you have incredible eyes? I was going to combust. Right there. Spontaneous human combustion in a cafe. Thank you, I whispered. I couldn't do it anymore. The guilt, the anxiety, the absolute absurdity of the situation. It was too much. I reached into my purse, pulled out my phone, and while maintaining eye contact with Ryan, I typed a message on Tinder. I'm already here. I watched his phone light up on the table. He glanced down, read the message, and looked confused. She says she's already here, but I don't. He looked around the cafe again, and then back at me. I watched the wheels turning in his head, the realization dawning slowly, like sunrise breaking over mountains. Wait, he said slowly. You're Alexandra? The Alexandra. I nodded, tears already forming in my eyes. I'm Alexandra, but I'm also Alex, the guy you matched with last night on Tinder. I'm both. I'm the same person. The silence that followed felt like an eternity. Ryan's face went through about 17 different emotions in 10 seconds. Confusion, shock, understanding, more confusion, and then something I couldn't quite read. I don't understand, he finally said, but his voice wasn't angry, just genuinely confused. So I told him everything. About the crossdressing, about how Alexandra was a part of me I'd been discovering, about creating the profile to explore this side of myself, about matching with him as both Alex and Alexandra, about being terrified to tell him the truth, about tonight being an attempt to finally come clean. I talked for probably 20 minutes straight, barely pausing to breathe. I told him things I'd never told anyone, about the fear, the shame, the joy, the liberation of finally being able to express all the parts of myself. When I finished, I was crying. Not dramatic sobs, just quiet tears running through my carefully applied makeup. I'm sorry, I said. I should have been honest from the beginning. I was just scared. And I understand if you want to leave. I needed you to know the truth. Ryan was quiet for what felt like forever. He took a sip of water, ran his hand through his hair, and then looked at me with those kind eyes that had made me fall for him in the first place. Can I ask you something? He said. I nodded, preparing for the worst. Was any of it real? The conversations we had, the connection, was that real? Yes, I said immediately, emphatically. Every single word, every conversation, every joke, every vulnerable moment, that was all real. That was all me. Both versions were me being honest about who I am, what I feel, what I want. The only thing that wasn't honest was not telling you that Alex and Alexandra were the same person. He nodded slowly, processing. You know what's really crazy, he said, a small smile playing at his lips. I swiped right on both of you. I was attracted to both of you. Before I knew you were the same person, I thought to myself, wow, I have really good taste. Both of these people seem incredible. I let out a sound between a laugh and a sob. I'm not going to lie, Ryan continued. This is a lot to process. I've never dated anyone who crossdresses. I don't really know what that means for a relationship or how it works. But here's what I do know. I spent 3 weeks getting to know someone who made me laugh every single day. Someone who listened when I talked about my anxieties and my dreams. Someone who felt like they got me in a way most people don't. And that person is sitting in front of me right now. I also know that it took an incredible amount of courage to show up here today and tell me the truth. You could have ghosted me, but you didn't. You respected me enough to be honest, even though it terrified you. That means something. My hands were shaking. So what does this mean? Ryan smiled, a real, genuine, warm smile. It means I'd like to start this date over. Hi, I'm Ryan. You're Alexandra, and also Alex, and apparently the same person who's been making me smile at my phone like an idiot for 3 weeks. Can I buy you a coffee and we can talk more? Because I have about 1,000 questions, but mostly I just want to keep getting to know you. All of you. We stayed at that cafe for 4 hours. We talked about everything, what crossdressing meant to me, how I navigated the world as both Alex and Alexandra, what I was looking for in a relationship, what his concerns were, what this might look like moving forward. He asked respectful questions. He listened without judgment. He admitted when he didn't understand something and asked me to explain. He was honest about his own uncertainties, but also clear that he wanted to try. I can't promise I'll be perfect at this, he said. I'll probably say the wrong thing sometimes or not understand something. But I promise I'll always be respectful, and I'll always communicate. And I'll never make you feel like you have to hide parts of yourself. As the cafe was closing, Ryan walked me to my car. Before I got in, he said, "Can I ask you one more thing?" "Anything." Would Alex want to grab a beer sometime too? Because I was really looking forward to talking to him about that concert venue. I laughed so hard I snorted, and Ryan grinned. "I'll take that as a yes." That was 6 months ago. Ryan and I are still together, and it's been the healthiest, most authentic relationship I've ever had. Some days I'm Alex, some days I'm Alexandra, and some days I'm somewhere in between. Ryan loves all of it. All of me. He introduced me to his friends, as both Alex and Alexandra. He educated himself on gender expression and fluidity. He asks questions when he's curious and gives me space when I need it. He's met me exactly where I am, and that's more than I ever thought I deserved. Was it risky showing up to that date? Absolutely. Could it have gone terribly wrong? Without a doubt. But sometimes the scariest moments lead to the most beautiful outcomes. To anyone out there who's hiding parts of themselves, who's terrified of being seen fully and completely, I see you. I understand that fear. But I also want you to know that you deserve to be loved for exactly who you are, in all your complexity and contradiction and beautiful authenticity. The right person won't just tolerate the parts of you that you've been taught to hide. They'll celebrate them. They'll make space for them. They'll swipe right on every version of you. And maybe, just maybe, they'll sit across from you in a cafe, not recognizing you at first, only to fall for you all over again when they finally see all of you. That's my story. The story of how my Tinder date didn't recognize me at first, and how that moment of not being recognized became the moment I was finally, truly seen.